Good morning, good night, good evening, and today we're bringing you Slava, the Tier 10 Special Research Bureau ship for the highest price of 63,000 research points. This ship has been a pain to get some footage for, but I got a really beautiful game in Slava that shows this ship to a T, and it was a very close match also, which highlights some of Slava's weaknesses, but also her strengths. For the economic package, without the merits flag, 50% to credits, 105 to ship XP, 115 to commander, and then 150 with a clan. Armor-wise, 25mm bow, so not the most tanky on her bow, 100mm side, and then her citadel armor approaches 370 and 350, belt armor at 150, deck at only 32, aft at only 25, with not the best on the plating. So let's pull that away for you so you can see that. Yeah, her citadel is above the waterline also. So this is a waterline citadel. And hypothetically, yes, they can punch through her bow. Oddly enough, though, it's not really going to happen because the way the bow and everything is made. It's actually harder to citadel this thing through the bow because of the way the citadel is. So, yeah, it's pretty weak on the bow, but odds of you getting citadel to the front are pretty low. Your biggest threat is being citadel from the side, though. You show a side in this thing, and I wouldn't say you're dead, but you're going to take a pretty good chunk. Survivability-wise, 91,800 with a 29% torpedo reduction bulge. So, it's not standard. It's not the best, but it's no Kremlin, that's for sure. Armor-wise, or gun-wise, she only gets 9 406mm guns. Now, these have a reload of 30 seconds, switch time of 18 seconds. Obviously, you're going to mostly be shooting HAP with some HE if you really need to. Turret traverse is abysmal at 43 seconds. So, yeah, that's the downside of Slav, is that her turret traverse is just abysmal. You have to really plan out your targets and have an escape route always in your mind. Max range of 24.7, so 25 rounded up. Max dispersion 12.2 or 212, sorry. So really great dispersion. HE damage is 5,800, 40% of fire, 68 armor pen, 807 velocity. AP does 12,100 with an 870 velocity. These are railguns. These are railgun guns. The bad news is that they're only 406s. So they're not like railguns 457s, unfortunately. But these are railguns, but you can bounce these shells easily. You have to find the broadsides and minimize being attacked. Once you learn how to maximize your broadsides and not take so much damage, it's very easy to rack up 100,000 in Slava. But this ship has a huge learning curve. Secondary wise, well, she gets 8 130mm guns, 4-second reload, 7.7 range, 1800 max damage, 8% of fire, 22 armor pen, and a 950 velocity. And she gets a couple of these guys, so not bad. AA wise, well, we'll get into the AA, sorry. Depth charge wise, it's actually decent. She gets 2 flights, 11 kilometer range. I think the reason it's so massive compared to all the other ships at this tier is because this ship is a sniper. It needs to stay back farther. Surprisingly, though, with the subs you're facing, you can actually strike them. You're actually more on par with the subs in terms of depth charge range. So they do have to worry about you. You can strike them. They aren't immune to your depth charge strikes. Unless they are good. And by good, I mean they drop their torps and then they ping you at the last second. But I did end up dodging some sub torps in the replay. So you'll get to see me fight a sub and a CV to an extent. AA wise, actually really decent AA. She gets 18 dual mount, 25 millimeters, 12 quad mount, 75 millimeters, and then the 8 130s. So damage wise, you can see that it's not so, it's actually a very decent at long range at 193. It's mostly in the short range at 203 and the medium at 476. Shell explosion 1750. AA range is 6.6. That's one of the best ones at this tier for a battleship. In comparison, let's look at Ohio for a second. 6 kilometers. It's a little bit, and the AA is exactly, the same in terms of range, or rating anyway. Rating doesn't mean anything anymore, but the range is just something that's different about this ship. Burgoyne, only 6 kilometers. Thunderer, 6 kilometers. Incomparable, 5.8. This thing actually has decent AA. Not enough to defend you, but you will die to CVs if they really want you dead. But you do have the fighting capability to put up a fight and defend yourself. Maneuverability wise, it's kind of a mixed bag. She does 30 knots, which isn't bad. Turning circle is 1,070, 1,090. So not the best. 16-second rudder shift. Again, try not to turn in this thing. And if you do, make sure you know what the hell is around you. Because if you aren't paying attention to what's around you, you're going to die. That's just as simple as the advice I can give you. Pay attention to what's around you when you're in a Slava. I know it's tempting to sit at the back of the map, but you want to play, honestly, from a long range to medium range, and then push into short range at the very end. When you have more health and everything, and you can actually push, and use your armor to actually tank, because you still have decent armor. Concealment-wise, though, 13.2, not the best, but it's standard. For the build, though, you still want to go main armaments 1, damage control mod 1, aiming systems, damage control 2, concealment, and then main battery reload. Now you could do range, of course, but that's only, there's a flip side with that. I would only take range if you were going with a CV. If you're going with a CV, then the odds of you being able to snipe this enemy CV become a little bit more plausible. But otherwise than that, just stay with the main battery reload. There's not much difference. I've tried using the range, and every time I'd use it, I never get spotting to do anything. So just stay with the reload. You get 4 charges of heal, and that's pretty much it. For the camo wise, that's what you would look like when you put the default one on, or the second one on, it goes to normal. I like the darker one. I just think it looks better. For the build, though, I am running Nikolai Kuznetsov. So, gun feeder, emergency repair specialist, brisk, grease the gears, because the turrets are terrible. Remember that. You do want, and the brisk does help to get you into position faster at the beginning of the match. Adrenaline rush, emergency repair expert, concealment expert, and then fire prevention. This would be a perfect Slava build. If you didn't want brisk, you could take vigilance, or if you wanted to try to find a way, you can put basic survivability on there. But this build works really well. It allows you to actually disengage, but also have that still ability to tank. But you do want Nikolai Kuznetsov because, one, you get will to victory if you drop to that certain health, and then if you get first blood, then you get that extra heal. So there is a huge part. And since she isn't like her normal Russian battleship, she gets a standardized heal. One that actually doesn't have, that has unlimited charges, which is a good thing for Slava, since he doesn't have the sheer tankiness that, well, Kremlin does. But let's get into the replay and we'll show you how Slava works. Hello and welcome back to WoW's Operation Replays in the Slava. So we're divvied up with the Bujo in his midway, and unfortunately we have to go to randoms. Now, Tier 10 Ops came. I would love to take Slava out a lot more. But as you can see by the team, it's pretty even. I have met the 5D3 player a few times, and I know he's pretty decent. But I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of ships I can Citadel. And Slava was the king of, well, sit back and snipe battleships, which is the downside of the ship also. It excels at medium to long ranges, and then goes down the closer it gets. And the key to performing in the ship is understanding how to balance the need to support your team and be in that right position. Now, if we were to stay here, we could shoot literally in the entire map. The only downside about these guns is that they turn horrendously slow. The gun velocity and everything's great. The traverse is terrible. The only thing I would actually rate worse than this traverse speed is the Baji in terms of gun traverse. But I'm literally just waiting for my midway to basically spot and see if I can open up some good shots. As everything's kind of moving into position, I can get some good shots. Hopefully. But this was a very close match. And I'm trying to get shots on that Constellation, but I'm just waiting for that fighter to come around. I needed to come around one more so I can get a clear shot. I'm good at aiming, but I need to be able to see if he's turning or not. Unfortunately, he runs away. And we're thinking, okay, St. Louis, and I'm like, oh, Able Bar. And I just take a blind shot. Thinking, maybe he'll keep driving straight, and I'm thinking, oh, he's still driving straight. We get a nice 21k on him. For a tier 6, that hurts. Although sitting like this does have its downsides because it's a CV, and if you're not moving, you're vulnerable. See, the CV is coming for me, and since I don't run flags and randoms, I am worried about detonations. He does activate our adrenaline rush. And then he goes up the Turpins. I don't know why he didn't just circle back and come to us. Shots out on the Constellation. Beautiful dispersion. Our midway picks up Pagero. We get another nice 18k on him. And then Thunderer laps us with an HE salvo. The Thunderer. They're the king of HE spamming ships. And I'm turning my guns. He's literally just sitting there. And I'm thinking, ah! That's another thing about this ship, is that you need continuous spotting to really make this ship work. Now, I am sitting basically broadside to a Constellation, a Shikishima, and a Thunderer. And I'm holding my fire. I'm not going to take a blind shot. There's a Thunderer. He shoots and he misses. We get a nice 18k on him. Nice 18k. Only 5 minutes in, we're up to 60,000. telling the Hipper to get back because there's no point. It's a Brisbane and a Holland. He's gonna get screwed. And yes, I could shoot, but these are only 406mm guns. So they don't have that overmatch or attacking ability. So I'm like, you have to weigh the, you can't just shoot. You have to weigh the opportunity. And be like, okay, should I fire and should I not? Our St. Louis going in, he's trying to get a nice shot and trying to give me a broadside on the St. Louis. Fortunately, the St. Louis turns in instead of turning out. If he had turned out, I'd probably get a shot. Now they've secured the seaside, which is great. The bad news is that we lost our sub. And it's nowhere near like, oh my god, right now. It's kind of even. And we do have an AFK ammo, which does not help at all. Does not help. Get a nice 12k on that Thunderer.
Concentrate fire on the designated target.
I should have aimed farther ahead on that. Shots out on Constellation. He is turning in. We do get a little bit of incapacitations and some damage. Shots look good. We under aim, but that's unfortunate. But then there's that beautiful Shikishima just sitting there. Beautiful. And then the sub is right there. He drops torps on the Shika, and I see that Shika's not even moving. So I aim right where his citadel is. And the dispersion is just beautiful. Nice, almost 80,000 of 6 citadels. And just deletes that Shikishima's health. And we were so close to a death strike. And then we try to follow up on this Brisbane, although he is ready for us. And their CV is just farming down our Yamato. Our Turpitz goes down. So I'm legitimately the only battleship on the site, and I've got Constellation, Shika, Thunderer. Give or take, the Shika is practically dead. And then a sub. And then I've got a Holland in front of me too. Now this is one of the worst situations you can find yourself in. I should have had that kill. Let's be honest. Should have aimed for the middle like I had. I screwed up. It's okay. I think the Shika did see my shells this time and had turned away. Now we have to turn away because, yeah, there's a Holland. We do have HE loaded. If we can get a nice shot on him, we can kill him. And we're waiting. We're waiting for him to make his commitment. Turns. We do a nice 7,700 to him. But he's like so low, and I literally just have to run. Now he has opportunities. He can either torp me or he can torp the Monty. Odds are he'll torp the Monty, or not the Monty, but the Yamato, because it's AFK. Again, that guy's been AFK for, what, 9 minutes now, and he will die. The Yamato's gonna die. Thunder and Constellation both open up, and I believe that was a Shiki shell that also shot at me too. And the sub is on the surface. He's right there. I have to run. I've got a Holland, and then I've got a sub. I do get a direct hit, and I do pick up my Confederate. Again, if I had a Halsey, I wish I had a Halsey for a Soviet ship, my reload would go down. just kind of spamming out these depth charges. I'm not trying to be accurate. I'm hoping I hit him, but I'm trying to anticipate where he'll go. Because when the ping hits, they may or may not be there. You never know. Now the Yami does go down, and they're ahead on ships. They're ahead on ships. So we do have good ships. We still have a Vermont. We still have 2 DDs. The Marceau is coming over to help me. He's coming over to like help me to get rid of this sub because he knows I'm critical and they need to keep me alive. Thunder is just sitting back there spamming HE at me. The Azuma's also coming over, so I'm getting support.
Союзник, требуется твоя поддержка.
And I'm asking this, well, the DD to go in there. Risky, absolutely. He almost risks getting torped by there. And I'm waiting to see what the Thunderer does. Because is he going to turn out? Is he going to turn in? What's he going to do? He can't angle to all of us. There's the Holland. And I'm like, nope, gotta kill him. Gotta help Marceau out.
Fire on the enemy warship.
Now we do get a nice 1200 on him. And we pick up our high caliber. And the DD's gone. Now the Marceau can go dark. He did drop torps on us though. Not a great drop. But we're gonna take torps. That's just a given. There's nothing we can do. Shots out on the St. Louis. 12,000. French-based armor, am I right? The Brisbane kills are Shima, but he's charging into a Vermont and a Worcester. They're both kind of tied in terms of health, in terms of DPM, but the Vermont, well, like, overmatches everywhere in that Brisbane. So, was it really worth him throwing his ship away like that? I don't know. Now, we will pick up the St. Louis. And then it gives us a Citadel in the very end. The Pity Citadel. Now, the Azuma gets Citadel. I mean, I knew he would die. He's probably going to die. And I get him supporting us. I truly do. And I do very much appreciate that. Midway out of plane says, or Shima. He's like, huh? And my Midway knows that we need to get this Thunderer down. This Thunderer is the only thing holding this team together. And the sub is right in front of me. I will say, though, that I am getting a lot better at dodging sub-torps. I'm starting to understand how they hone. It only took a year, but I'm starting to get a lot better at it now. I don't take not nearly as many sub-torps unless it's at shotgun range. Now he's had to have. Now the sub had to have basically run away now. He's gone down, he's undetecting me, so now I can kind of do what I need to. We do pick up strike team. And you can see the back turret is just abysmal in terms of speed for turning. Our sub, or DD, is going into trying to find that sub. But he is not that much healthy. He is very low. Now, this is also one of the worst positions can be caught in a Slava, is broadside like this. We do get a nice 12k on this Thunderer. There's the sub. There's the armor piercing. I'm like, oh, ow, ow, and that barely missed us. That could have I could have ended it. So broadside the ship is no bueno. And I'm not going to shoot because I need to get angled back into him before I shoot. The Worcester kills the sub. Finally. There goes one of my biggest issues. So it's literally just the Thunderer left I got to deal with. And the CV's going to make one more pass on him before... And I'm just holding my fire. So he's gonna line up his strike, and then I'm gonna shoot when he's committed. He's committed. I shoot. He can't angle. He can't do anything. He'll shoot me back. See if he gets a nice drop on him, and I pick him up. And we just bounce his 457s. Now the CV will go after the Abelmar that we punched in the very beginning. And I feel bad for that Omaha. Or Abelmar. Omaha, Abelmar. They're both super squishy cruisers, right? Now, the Marceau is going to die, but he is going to get us A. And that Marceau did a hell of a job. A hell of a job. Same with the Vermont and the Worcester. There goes the Marceau. It's unfortunate, but he did a really good job. Really good job. And we did comp him for a job well done. There's Mr. Constellation. Worcester versus Abelmar. My bet's on the Worcester. Plus a CV going after him. Yeah. Poor Abelmar. Abelmar goes down, and we win. We're going to win in like 10 seconds. And that's GG. 211k in a Slava. But you see, you have to balance that mid to long range to really be in that position. Decent amount of credits. 9 Citadels, 2 kills. General Offensive, Strike Team, Confederate, and High Caliber. Worcester at the very top with 2,500 base XP, so good for him. Slava second with 2148, and Midway third with 1943. And then Marceau, good old Marceau, doing really well with 1631. Well, like, we took like all the health from that Shikishima off. We took 80,000 off, 88,000 off. And we received over 100,000 damage. We took 5 torps. The Thunderer fires did hurt, and the Flood did hurt. But as when you look at the shells, the Shika rarely did anything to us. It was literally just the Thunderer and torps, which is this ship's biggest issue. If you can learn to deal with those issues, you can make do. But she doesn't have the best planes, that's for sure. Because we lost like 13 AA modules. And that is a tough one because you have to balance your guns versus your AA. Do you want to keep your AA or keep your guns alive? That one's a tough one. Not even I know the right answer to that one. But final score and credits, just a little under 500,000. Like, we spent a lot on ammunition. We fired a lot of shells. Like, we shot 126 shells and only landed about half of them. So about a 40-some% hit ratio. Not the best in terms of end game, but great damage. But that's what Slava is a damage dealer from long and medium ranges.